Welcome, Jalen Milroe, to the QB room. Man, welcome. I'm fired up that you're able to join us. And we don't know each other. I mean, is that right?
That's right.
We might have met at Elite 11 or something,
Right.
like in a passing, but I don't recall crossing paths, and so this is a unique one where we don't actually go way back.
Right. We could change that for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I was kind of waiting to hear the laugh too. So kind of starting off here, we get a lot of bold statements on here. We're not trying to make news or anything, but we've had a couple people make some very strong statements. Are you ready to say that you have hands down the best laugh in college football?
See, look, I don't know. See, look, I'm in a small box with who I know. You know, it might be somebody have a better laugh, but as of now, I think my laugh competes with a lot of people.
Yeah, it was great. I saw that clip. I know that went viral. It was definitely not down the like Kawhi Leonard awkward. It was just one of those like super smiley, super loud, caught a bunch of people's attention. There's a lot of things you can go viral for. That one is not on the list of don't go viral for. So not a bad look at all. And the other day, let's talk a little bit about Saban. So you made a comment, I think it was his birthday, and you said that he's getting old, but he still acts young. Saban's one of those guys that like everybody knows the name, everybody knows the resume. Yeah. Not that many people know him. So what do you mean by that statement?
Yeah, so like with all our work, as far as like our training and stuff like that, when we like do before practice, he does all the exercises. Like when we stretch and stuff like that, he does every movement that we do. When it goes like the ground based stuff, and he's bouncing around, moving around, and then from drill to drill, you know, usually coaches walk. He don't walk. He run the field to field. So seeing that, it's like real funny because like, yeah, he's at that age, but he's still active and moving around as if he was young. But just being coached by him, you know, it's the same guy every single day, but he always gonna bring something funny every single day, you know. But being around him, he just moves around, and it's just funny because like how his age is like it's like different.
Yeah, it doesn't matter, right? I mean, it's like Pete Carroll's another one of those guys. Like he's freaking throwing a 7-on-7. He's like 75 years old. That's awesome. My high school coach was like that. Kept him super young. All right, so we play some games on here. We're gonna watch some tape today. We're gonna play some games here. I saw in an interview, and this wouldn't even be you. This would be like pretty much everybody your age. I saw something like you did collab with Roback. Yeah. Shout out to Roback. Yeah. That lit was your favorite word. So we're gonna play a little game here. Lit or not lit. Okay.
Do it.
All right. Cigars after a big win. Lit or not lit?
Lit.
Lit. All right. Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Lit.
Lit. Are you a big CTC guy?
Oh, most definitely. That's my favorite cereal.
All right. I'm going to let you in on a little like veteran move here. All right. You like French toast?
That's right.
Have you ever had French toast?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
So you know how I don't know how to make French toast. My mom did, and then my wife does. But like you take eggs, you put them in there, you put it on both sides of the bread.
Yeah.
Take a bag of Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Okay.
Smash it up into dust.
Okay.
Sprinkle that all over. And then make your French toast. And you got French toast with a little coating of Cinnamon Toast Crunch around it. We used to do that in college. That was a banger.
I need to try it out. Who put you on to that? Somebody had to put you on.
Reagan Schneider, my kicker.
Okay.
Yeah, my college roommate.
I bet. Yeah. I'm going to try that out.
All right. You're welcome for that. Auburn.
Not lit.
Not lit. 0 teams trading for Lamar Jackson this offseason. I know he's your favorite player.
Love Lamar.
Nobody traded for him.
I know. That's not lit. That's not lit.
I know. I couldn't believe it. 6:30 a.m. morning workouts.
Lit.
Yeah, lit. I love it. I'd rather get it up and get going. And once you get the energy level going, those are some of the best days. When I redshirted and you redshirted, like you get the 6 a.m. lift time, and it's like, yeah, but once you're going, it's great.
Exactly. That's how I feel.
Yeah. I'm with you on that one. Saying MJ's better than LeBron.
Not lit.
Not lit. Texas high school football.
Lit.
California high school football.
Lit.
There you go. Bryant-Denny Stadium on a Friday night. Or on a night game.
Very lit.
Very lit. I don't go to a ton of games because I got to watch a lot of my clients playing Saturdays and Sundays, but that is one of the games I've made was a Alabama game a couple years ago. The tailgate before was just as lit as the game as well. I want to get into something here. You got an acronym, F.A.M.I.L.Y. Forget about me. I love you. What does that mean to you?
So first, where I got it from my high school in Katy, Texas. Our head coach named Todd McVay. We have a great relationship to this day. But I got the acronym from him, and it really set it really. So like as you get older, you really like take the little things that you learn when you're growing up, and that's one thing that stuck with me because um, it's less about me when you play the game of football. And you have 11 guys, you have other, 10 guys around you that allow you to perform the way you do. And to be able to lean on your brothers, no matter what the circumstance is, um, I think that has greater value than just a personal performance. Uh, and when it comes to dogfight, like the Tennessee game, that was less about me. It was about the guys around me. Being the great teammates, being competitors. It's little things like that to allow any team to be successful. It's about the family aspect, and I think that's very key to play football. You just have to have a good relationship and good bond. That's for me, the family acronym.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. And it's one thing, you can put it whatever you want on the back of a shirt and then
Yeah,
say break it down on family on three kind of thing. But like to live it, right? And to have to use it
I
is a
live it.
different thing, right? Same thing with scripture. You can have it all memorized.
I'm telling you,
Cool. Do you apply it to your life? Like
that's right.
and the idea of the highs and lows. And so you had a low. I mean, similar to Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts got benched in the national championship game for Tua Tagovailoa and all the stuff and everyone, whatever. Handled that with class, which set him up for handling a lot of things with class. Um, you got, I don't know if you want to say benched or that, whatever. They went with the other guy.
Mm-hmm.
Um, did that did that come up? Was that a reference point? Did anybody there mention that? Hey, this isn't over, that kind of thing. And Jalen, the example, like, did that ever play a role when they went with Tyler for a week?
Yeah, like so one thing is that time stops for nobody. Whether you have a bad circumstance, a good circumstance, time stops for nobody. So when the change happened, it happened, and it was just something I had to really look in the mirror and acknowledge the what's in front of me. And the biggest thing that I try to implement with the family acronym and try to be the best teammate I can. For me to say that I didn't want to play, that I'll be wrong. But what I try to do is focus less on me and focus on just trying to be the best teammate I can be for Todd, Tyler, and all the guys in the room, and to talk about the family environment. No matter who was in the game or even at practice, I tell this to people all the time is that whoever's taking a snap on that particular play is QB1. No matter if you're the fourth string, third string, no matter what, whatever rep you have, you're in the practice rep or game rep, you're QB1. And when the guys come off the sideline, we all talk and give feedback, whatever. But my biggest thing, I try to be the best teammate I can be. And with that circumstance, it happens. At the end of the day, that is a coach's decision. That's not my decision. So, my biggest thing is that I had game experience before that game. So I try to, give it to the other guys and, give them what I've seen with the reps I've had. So I just try to be the best teammate I can be.
Yeah, man. Well, that played out because you handled it really well, right? Everyone knows how Jalen Hurts handled it. I think everyone who was paying attention saw how you handled it. Saw you like went viral on a clip of you being jacked when Tyler made a play or won the game or whatever it was, and you just can't fake that in the moment. It's kind of who you are. So that's cool that even though it's an acronym and it's from our high school coach way back when, it's playing out on a big stage and you're using it and applying it, which is huge. And honestly, man, anytime one of my guys goes through something hard, get benched, get hurt, get screwed over, get crushed in the meat, whatever it is, I always remind them, like, if you're blessed enough to play this game long enough, if you're lucky enough to play the game long enough, this is going to happen a couple more times.
Yep.
If you're lucky enough,
Yep.
right?
Right.
Because it could also never happen again because you don't play anymore. And so this idea of the highs and the lows, like my company's called QB Summit, and then my logo's a mountain range. Well, that's what it is. This is your career. Up,
Yep.
down, up, down, up, down, up, right? From this moment on, you guys could not lose again, right? Or worse, right? Or a lot of different things. And so how you handle the inevitability of success and adversity, that's how good you are. You mentioned Lamar Jackson. You mentioned Aaron Rodgers. You mentioned Tom Brady, 3 of the greatest ever. Like, they're really good at handling adversity and they're really good at handling success. So, like,
Right.
that's kind of how I score it. There's a couple guys ahead of you at Bama who've done this as well too. Jalen Hurts, Tua Tagovailoa, Mac Jones, and now Bryce. Known a lot of these guys for a long time.
Yeah.
You know, I met Tua as a sophomore in high school. Bryce is a 7th grader. Jalen around his sophomore year. So, and Mac a little later, but in Elite 11. But through this process, the last 4 guys are starting. Not 4 of the last 10 in a Bama quarterback. The last 4 guys are starting on Sundays, not because someone's hurt,
Yeah.
right? And you're the next quarterback. What is 16-year-old Jalen Milroe, junior year, Tompkins High School, Katy, Texas? You just beat Cypress Falls in double overtime to go 11-1. Like, what does that kid say about the situation you're in right now, leading Alabama Crimson Tide? You know, everything that's in front of you from a school perspective and
Yeah.
opportunity that's beyond school. What would you say to yourself?
Yeah, I'll say that high school me would be very proud of where I'm at now. I never gave up. You know, I always wanted to improve. I always wanted to be the best quarterback I can be and play at a high level and get to where I'm at. You know, and when I signed my letter of intent to go to University of Alabama, I always wanted to be the starting quarterback at the University of Alabama. So I'm steadily checking things off my checklist, but I'm nowhere near a finished product and still have a lot of things I need to improve on to get to where I need to be. But with those names that you mentioned, you know, with all those guys, they all played at a high level here and they did things the right way. So for me, to see those guys play at a high level is I try to like soak up the things that they did well. And the biggest thing I have to do is be where my feet are. You know, those guys are at the league and are where I want to be, but I have to control my controllables that's taking place here, and that's really being around the guys in the locker room, performing well on Saturdays, looking to improve during the week, and really controlling all that I have now. But to say that that's my ultimate goal is to play at that next level and to be where those guys are at, and they are setting the foundation for quarterbacks below them at Alabama. So all I can do is learn from them and just try to be the best version I can be for whenever that opportunity can come.
Yeah, and it's crazy because all 4 of those guys either won a Natty
Yep.
or a Heisman or broke some kind of records.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And all 4 of them have had some rough patches since then.
Yeah.
Jalen Hurts was a reach in the 2nd round, and everyone thinks he's going to be a bust. Tua's had 2 really hard years. Injuries, doubt, no one knows. Mac Jones struggled like crazy last year. Bryce is struggling right now. So the inevitability of success and adversity, I'd bet all 4 of those guys are going to be just fine in the long run. Jalen already is. Tua's turned a corner. Mac's on the verge. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So a lot to learn from in person, a lot to learn from looking out. And one of the things too about Alabama quarterbacks, it's kind of like quarterback for the Cowboys, leading scorer for the Lakers, batting cleanup for the Yankees. Like Alabama quarterback has kind of become that thing. You know what I mean? No one's sitting around wondering who the quarterback at Auburn is going to be next year, but they are at Bama. Do you feel that there? Do you know that?
I think those are like more external factors because like within the building, like we all just trying to like get better and like work to like achieve our short term goals and our long term goals. So we like lose track of those little things because like once we leave the facility, oh, these are the problems that's happening. Like it's like when we're in the moment, as far as being in the facility with each other, like all we know is work. Like everything is just a grind. Like this process of where we want to be at. And I say the best thing about coming here is that we're all like-minded and want to be successful, and I think that's like something that I really like, take pride in just how, where I'm at as far as here, just how well everyone's, wants to really just improve.
Yeah. Talking about Bryce specifically, redshirt year, he wins the Heisman, right? So you're redshirting, you're chilling. The next year you're backing him up. Off the field, away from playing in games, what's the biggest thing you learned from Bryce?
Best thing I learned from Bryce off the field was how he can take his mind off of football and just be himself. I think that's key because, like, outside looking in, you just see the football player. You don't see the person. I saw the person, who he is, and he's a great, great dude. Like, that's my brother, and we steadily have a great bond to this day. And see that because for me, I'm coming in from high school, I'm coming in, and college is different to me. Just trying to see, as far as how does the quarterback operate, with because I didn't play, so my biggest thing I try to be a sponge and learn from the guy that I was playing, which was Bryce, and uh, just how he managed everything. He took it easy, as far as like nothing really affected him. With all that went on with this Heisman year, to say that everything was great, it is a problem that wouldn't happen. There's little things that that could have happened that year, but he took it, one game at a time. He had a great mindset with everything. My best story is the Auburn game. Just all that adversity that went throughout that game, playing on the road, having to go into overtime. We have zero timeouts. He had to lead us down the field to score. So like it's just the little things that he did as far as his preparation, as far as how he was as a teammate, his leadership qualities, and then also how he affected the guys in the room. I think that was key too, is that he was playing, but he also was a good teammate to the guys in the room. With everyone in there, with Paul Tyson, Braxton Barker, myself, Stone Hollenbach, and just all the guys in the room. It was great to see his leadership really affect all of us in the room.
That's great, man. He's been a lot more mature than his age
Yep.
for a long time. He's kind of always been like that. Part of it's his parents too. I think he's just raised by great people. All right, so let's talk about superpowers for a second. I think quarterbacks, you either got them or you don't. Sometimes you got more than one. I'll fill in the blank on a couple of them, and then I want you to fill in the blank on the last one. So let's go through Bama quarterbacks. Tua's superpower, I would say, is decisiveness.
Yeah.
Very decisive. He was in high school. He was at Bama. That's why he's such a good fit. So I would say Tua's superpower is decisiveness. For Bryce, I would say it's creativity. And I don't mean like coloring. I mean like creating time and space.
Yeah.
Creating a window, creating a throwing lane, creating the dig backside becomes a back pylon if I move this way. And so stop, start, I think creating. All these guys can throw it well, so that's not a superpower if you can throw it well. A lot of people can. You finish this one. Jalen Milroe's superpower is?
You said Jalen Milroe?
Yep.
I think toughness. Toughness
Why?
is a superpower. I think there's nothing that can really affect me. I've seen everything in my life, whether it's good and bad. I've been through every situation, and I've been told, all the worst in the world. I've been seeing the worst in the world, but honestly, I don't let anything affect me because I have a strong human being above me, which is my Lord and Savior, so I can get through any situation. And then my toughness, I think I don't let anyone beat me at anything, and I don't let anything affect me. So I think toughness is my superpower.
I feel like when guys at a young age, I love that answer, man. Well, let me say it this way. I think there's a couple universal languages in a locker room, right? So, for example, talent is not a universal language. Not everybody respects a talented guy, right? If you got like a corner who's just like a punk and doesn't do anything right, super talented, the O-line doesn't give a shit about that. Like, I don't do what we're all doing here, right? Toughness, tough people, they speak that language, right? Work ethic, if you grind at Bama, you can fit in. If you don't grind at Bama, how's that going to fly? Forget the coaches, the players. How's that going to fly? Right? If you're lazy and cutting corners, like it's just not, we don't speak that here. You know what I mean? And then making plays, people who make plays, even if that's a left tackle who never gives up a sack versus a good defensive end, it doesn't have to be a skill position. But I've always felt toughness, work ethic, and when we need you, it can be the kicker.
No doubt.
You know what I mean?
No doubt.
Like those are universal languages, but like swag is not, like being funny is not. Like some people don't give a shit, right? And so those are those universal languages. So I love when a young player identifies one of their superpowers or best attributes is one of the things that actually is spoken in every single winning locker room, in every sport. We're going to get into something called just QB talk here. So I've heard you mention before, we saw that Lamar Jackson's made a big impact on your game, watching him. I'm sure not just on the field, but off the field too. And then I've heard you mention that you watch Brady and Aaron Rodgers. So Um, what do you when you see these guys play? We all see highlights, but have you watched guys on tape? Have
Yeah.
you had conversations with like how are older players impacting you right now?
I think number one, they have to acknowledge that they all had a certain process to get them to where they were at. And I appreciate a grind. I appreciate a story, and I appreciate um, these different quarterbacks. I know what it takes because I played the position, and just those three guys that you mentioned, they all play football differently, but they're all successful. So I try to be a sponge and really try to take little details that they all do and try and learn as much as possible. With Lamar, he has the great ability to throw the ball and run the ball, and he affects different defenses that way. Aaron Rodgers has great natural talent when it comes to the ball, and he's able to throw any ball on the field. And Brady's all Mr. Fundamental, but his mental and how he approached the game, his preparation, and little things like that allow him to be successful. Because although he might not be the fastest or the strongest, he can spin the ball, and he knows with his preparation before the game that where the defense is going to be, and that allows him to get the ball out and be efficient as a passer. So like each of those guys all play differently, but they all are successful with their different ability that they have. So for me, I try to like soak up all those those guys and really try to be a better quarterback as much as possible.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. I mean, when you're at Bama, there's a lot of people because you just named three people that didn't go to Alabama. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? And yet you could just look at dudes who did go to Alabama
yeah,
and only take things from those guys' games, and
yeah,
you'd be good to go. You know what I mean? Let alone the coaches, let alone experience. So we have something in common you don't know, and that is a really close friend of mine passed away 2 years ago named Trevor Moad. He was a performance psychologist.
okay,
He was at Bama for like 7 years. Saban hired him, and so a lot of what you guys do at Bama, the process,
yeah,
um, a lot of the things that Saban, I hear it in interviews. Neutral thinking. Ever heard that term?
yep,
Being neutral. That all came from Trevor. And so it's funny. Like I've never been around your building, but I know a lot of what you guys talk about because that's the guy that actually kind of trained me on a
mm,
lot of what I help quarterbacks with. Um, and so one of the things that Brady and I don't know Lamar enough to know that, and Aaron is his own guy, but I think one of the good goals as you look at some of these players that have played, at Bama and anybody else you idolize or look up to, um, is this idea of talents versus behaviors,
yeah,
right? You got like your bucket of talents is full, right? Big,
right,
tall, fast, strong-armed, explosive playmaker guy. You know what I mean? You can
yeah,
currently do a lot of things that a lot of NFL guys currently can't do, right? And so one of the things I would encourage you to look at, not that this is a coaching session,
yeah,
is the idea of talents versus behaviors.
mm-hmm,
This is a big Trevor Moad thing, and I'm curious if Saban's brought this up. But talents versus behaviors, because I don't think Tom Brady's ever at any point out talented anybody.
yeah,
He didn't in New England. He didn't at Michigan. He got benched at Michigan. Okay? But what he's been doing is out behaving everybody for like 30 years.
yeah,
And so this idea of behaviors, which is routines, repetition, just process. So you use the word process, but this idea of behaviors, not tucking in my shirt saying yes sir, but
right,
behaviors of like this is what I do on Mondays. This is what you know what I mean.
right,
And so building out those behaviors because you can control the behaviors a lot easier than you can control the talent,
yeah,
right? And the abilities. And you're really fast. A high ankle sprain might slow you down, right? You got a hose, elbow tendonitis might slow. So even if you got the talents,
mm,
they're not always available to you, right?
right,
But the behaviors are. And
right,
so this idea of control what you can control on those. And so as a young quarterback, I would encourage you, man, you got all guys around you in the room, guys who've been there, guys who come back on bye week, let alone who you can watch in the offseason. So I think that idea of talents versus behaviors is a good one,
okay,
especially for the super, super talented dudes,
gotcha.
because then you got a chance to have both. Brady never had a chance to have both. He could only outbehave. Make sense?
That makes sense.
Let's flip here and do a little teach tape. All right. So this is your chance to get nerdy with it, not give away here's how we read things, but like
Yeah,
let's explain to me what this is and what you're looking to do this. We do this with all of our guests breaking stuff down. So don't give away any trade secrets here, but it
yeah,
is on tape.
yeah. All right, so we have a two high safety shell right here. The first thing we have the key is that near safety. Where's his position on the field? Because I'm keying him because I know Jermaine was gonna be singled up backside with the corner. And I had to look off the safety to really like open up that one-on-one backside, and I had to throw it in rhythm because if I didn't throw it late, that safety would have been back over there. So to simplify the read, that was exactly what took place on that play. And but if Amari 84, if he was singled up with that safety that was going up top, the ball could easily go up to him too. But Jermaine was one-on-one backside, and it was all about keying that near safety.
So if this is single high,
Yeah,
this is basically a flood read. I love this concept, by the way. Inside, tight split, inside release, and it's really a corner stop, right?
that's right.
Yeah. So once you put a couple of corner routes on tape, and it's tough, you're not going to get a corner route down here,
Right.
unless you press and he beat But in this look, that's not enough space for a traditional corner route. But I love Jermaine's route. Jermaine came out and ran routes when he was at Georgia,
Oh yeah.
so I love watching him
Yeah.
find his role at a big school. So if it's single high, then you got that over route coming across. This just full field read it all the way across.
That's right. And if it's man across the board, you can alert the corner route to 17 to the field. But looking at the shell, it wasn't man, so we just accelerate our eyes backside.
Yeah. And do you guys have hots and side adjust, or do you redirect it, or when you have pressure?
I think number one, when we get to the line, we have to make sure we have the right read as far as the offensive line protection. So we're protected here. So that's like the number one thing, trying to see where our hot reads are and stuff like that.
So who's your OC?
Tommy Reese.
Okay, and this is his first year, right? Billy
That's
O'Brien left at the end of last year.
That's right.
Okay, and is a lot of it the same? Is it like little? Is it like similar terminology, a little different philosophy, or is it totally different?
I'll say the Alabama offense, no matter who's here, like it's just the
Gotcha.
same type of plays. But I think the messages and how it really transfer to the quarterback is different. How they talk to the quarterback and how we pick it up. I think that's different as far as the
That's cool.
terminology and what they use. And just with Tommy Reese being younger, I think I pick up on his terminology much better. And he played the position, so like his terminology comes across, more transparent.
Bill O'Brien's a mean cuss, man. He's tough. I had Deshaun, and then his first couple of years in Houston, and it was oh man, OB. He's tough.
Yeah.
He's gonna very clearly articulate how he wants it done.
Yeah.
This is the nice way to say it. Cool. We got one more clip on here. Let's talk through this one. So this is 20-7. I didn't realize you guys came back like that.
Yeah. It was a dog fight.
Yeah, 14. This is basically start of the second half, 1st and 10. You guys are down 20-7.
Yep.
Let this one go. Middle field open, wide receiver open. What happened here?
All right, so this is a peer progression read. I start left, and then you work the full field on this play. Number one, you have to key in our YY set with our two tight ends. Seeing that they had a good matchup, but they were both walled. So then you just progress your eyes across the field, starting with Jermaine, then progress to IB, number 17. IB ran a great route on this play, and he beat the corner. Look at him.
I mean, you talk about stepping on somebody's toes. I can hear him say, ow, it's on mute.
Exactly. That's how you do it right there. And then with not really recognized, just the back getting out too, just in case, say IB was walled here. We have a back here for our check down as well. But this is a peer progression read, full field read.
Do you have, everyone's more comfortable with a peer progression because it tells you where to go, but you got peer progressions, you got progression plus an option.
Yeah.
And you got kind of pre-snap looks. Is that how it is in your head? And that's maybe a different terminology, but
exactly
kind of separate it that way?
That's exactly what it is. Yep.
That's why Bama quarterbacks go and play well in the NFL, because you guys learn it that way.
Yeah.
A lot of schools is just straight pure progression, which 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, run. So I love that you guys are challenged to compartmentalize those as pure progression. So for those watching this going, what are they talking about? Pure progression. What's your definition of a pure progression?
Peer progression is setting one eyes to a particular way and full field progressing. Either if it starts from the left or if it's starting to the right, you full field progression with your eyes and feet.
So coverage is irrelevant. If one's open, throw it. Yeah. If he's covered, go to 2. If he's covered, go to 3. And then progression plus an option is that. But if we got a quarters alert post, or we got a free access corner route, or comeback. So something where it's the same concept, but if we get this look with that guy, we'll throw it to that guy. And then how would you define pre-snap look?
A pre-snap look. Say we have a snap, free access, backside, take it. Say you have a bell corner, take the snap backside. Say you have a cloud corner on that snap route, progress your eyes to the full field concept.
Yep. 1 high, 2 high, man zone,
Right. Yep.
away from rotation, quarters over here, cloud over there, all that. So,
Right.
dude, you'll when you get to the NFL, you'll be even more grateful than you are right now that you played in that type of system that challenged you to learn it. Because honestly, coming out of high school, I don't care if you redshirt or not, if it wasn't separated like that in your head, it's kind of like a foreign language, right? I mean,
Exactly.
I can memorize Spanish words, but once you start conjugating verbs and having to put it all together and then read it, it's like that's about when I changed my major. So that's amazing. You guys have get to do that. Thanks for sharing that.
No.
Let's click over to Saban here. Play another little game here, and we'll get rolling. This is called Saban or Nah. So did Saban say this quote or nah? It's not Saban. All right. Now, they're all quotes by somebody. Okay. All right. I'm going to read it off. You let me know what you think. You go out there and dominate the man you're playing against, and you make his ass quit.
Saban.
1 for 1. Fun fact: pregame speech before the 2008 victory against LSU. Motivation is simple. You eliminate those who are not motivated.
Saban.
1 for 2. That's Lou Holtz. I don't know if you know that name. That's an old guy who was at Notre Dame for a long time. Mediocre people don't like achievers, and high achievers don't like mediocre people. Saban. You're just going to default go to Saban every time. 2 for 3. The more one emphasizes winning, the less they're able to concentrate on what actually causes success.
Nah.
That's Saban, actually. The more one emphasizes, I like that. The more one emphasizes winning, the less they're able to concentrate on what actually causes success. So that would mean simulate that he doesn't talk about winning a lot.
He talks
about process. Is that true?
He talks about the process.
Yeah, the result is winning. But if we just sit here and talk about winning, you're not talking about what causes winning. Just do the right thing. The rest doesn't matter.
That is not Saban.
No, you're good. That is Marcus Aurelius. We didn't tackle well today, but we made up for it by not blocking.
Nah.
Yeah, nah, that's John McKay. That's an old coach at USC. The first step, don't be anxious. The second step, concentrate on what you have to do. Remind yourself that your task is to be a good human being, then do it without hesitation.
Nah.
I would have said that too. You're correct. There is no continuum for success. Focus on the process, not the results. You got that one.
Saban.
Yeah, Saban. All right, I'll give you the last one here. Champions always have a plan, but failing to plan is essentially a plan around not having a plan.
Nah.
So this one was the bonus one. This is my boy Trevor, who I know instilled this philosophy at Bama and then Georgia and then other places too. Yeah. So if you've never heard Saban say that, it's interesting. So we always talk about, let's talk about it for a sec. So champions, this guy Trevor worked with Bama, won titles there, Georgia won titles there, a lot of Olympians, a lot of special forces. I'll send you a link, but you got to check out his book. It Takes What It Takes. Did you guys read that yet, Saban?
No.
It's a great book. And so what he basically says is champions always, they have a plan.
Yeah.
So you set out a goal and then you chart neutral behaviors that lead to the outcome you desire. And that's your plan, right? If I do this every day, there's a really good chance that I'm going to end up with the thing that I want at the end. Right.
Right.
And it's not emotional things. They're neutral behaviors. And then he would say, but if you don't have a plan, just know that your plan is to not plan. And that makes people go, well, wait a second. My plan's not to not plan. You know what I mean? It's like, well, if you don't have a plan, it is. It's just like this super simple, like, if you don't have a plan, then that's your plan.
Yeah.
You know? So I always do that during draft prep.
Yeah.
I ask everybody what their plan is, and they give me this long answer, which basically means you don't have a plan, you know? And then that one hits them right between the eyes. They're like, all right, well, how do we do a plan? All right, let's build it. So awesome. last little thing here. So we play a game called QB to QB. So our last guest asks the next guest a question.
Okay.
I'm not going to tell you who the guest was.
Okay.
I'm going to ask you the question, and they didn't know who that you were going to be the guest, right? And so,
Yeah.
and then you're going to ask a question for the next guest.
Okay. Bet.
So Amazon Thursday Night Football. Amazon has Thursday Night Football. The panelists are Richard Sherman, Andrew Whitworth, Ryan Fitzpatrick, and Tony Gonzalez.
Okay.
Which one's your least favorite of those four? Who do you want to eliminate? Ryan Fitzpatrick, Richard Sherman, Andrew Whitworth, or Tony Gonzalez? Got to get rid of one of them.
I say Richard Sherman because I play offense. I'm always for the offensive guys.
All right, we'll take that. I like that. I would eliminate him too because he's always bugged me, and I told him that. But also, Ryan Fitzpatrick was our guest, and he was the one who asked that question. I didn't want to single him out. What question would you like to ask for our next guest? It's probably going to be an NFL. We've only done a couple of college here. It's probably going to be an NFL starter. We've had questions around cover zero. We've had stupid random questions. We've had questions about process. So what would be something that you'd want to ask whoever our guest is next?
Let's see. As an NFL quarterback, what is something you would tell a college quarterback before reaching that level?
All right. What advice would you have for a college quarterback before going to the NFL?
Yeah.
Awesome. We will definitely ask that. This is the last thing, man. And I'll give you a sec if you want to get your thoughts in order. We do something called the 2-minute drill.
Okay.
All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to throw a timer on the screen.
All right.
And in 2 minutes, I'm going to hit mute. In 2 minutes, the story of Jalen Milroe. You can start wherever you want to start, and it ends with today.
Okay.
But this is kind of like your journey, right? So you can start it wherever you want. Highs and lows is typically, what's helpful.
Yeah.
And, this is also like if I were to send a clip to a kid who wanted to know about you, this is the clip, or somebody wanted to know about you, this is the clip you'd send. Okay. So I'm going to stop talking. You can start it wherever you want. Right. And we'll start the clock when you go.
My name is Jalen Milroe. I was born in 29 Palms, California. My dad was a Marine. My mom was in the Navy. That's where they met. Following California, I moved to Maryland with my dad's side of the family. From there, we moved to Houston, Texas with my mom's side. And then where I consider home is Katy, Texas. I left Houston and moved to Katy, Texas. My dad is the one who introduced me to football. He tried training me when I was 4 years old. He was my first quarterback trainer. And that's who I learned football from, with my dad. So he really, where I got my knowledge from, is playing football. All props to my dad. But growing up, I was always the underdog. I was told I couldn't play quarterback. I was, told to play running back, safety, a lot of positions other than quarterback. But it was for my parents who told me to never give up with my dream, and all my dreams will be here if I continue to work hard and gave all honor to God and allow Him to lead my path. With my story, I went to high school at Katy Tompkins. That high school, we didn't have a lot of 5 stars. We didn't have a lot of guys that really were passionate to playing at the next level at other schools. We were really a run heavy school. But I did all that asked for me at the high school. I was the first person to go to a Power 5 school from my high school, and I'm definitely blessed. And I'll give all thanks to my Lord and Savior for that. But now, being in Alabama, I'm so blessed and fortunate, and I love the process that I'm at here. I roll Tide.
With no time left, you get it across the line, man. There's going to be, so like I said in the beginning, man, like I don't know a ton about you. Usually somebody meet them across the Elite 11 process or get introduced or whatever. And I was super pumped to have you on because I was hoping it would kind of go like this, but dude, I'm a fan. I'm not missing another Bama game, and I've only seen you play twice. I'm not. There's not everybody acts like you. Not everybody, not even acts like. Not everybody is this like sure of where their feet are right now at this point in their career. Man, this is a lot going on, and this and agents and money and time and all the stuff and the league or not or what.
Yeah.
It's so easy for dudes as redshirt sophomores having success, and also just recently had adversity and has more of both coming ahead,
Yeah.
but like to not be as sure of you are. And so now learning, okay, military background, so I understand to some extent how you were raised and the role that discipline and commitment and honor and integrity. I work with a lot of kids that are children of military. Um, so okay, cool. All right, so that makes sense. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Moving around, that makes sense. Why your personality, you're really outspoken and really confident in who you are, and not sitting here. You know what I mean? Like, okay, well
Right.
that. So now it all starts to make sense. Why I love the 2 minute drill. Um, but dude, I'm a fan. Not blowing smoke. I'm a fan, and I think a lot of people are going to see this and go, "Damn, I didn't realize the Bama dude was." You know what I mean? Just because you haven't put yourself. Bryce Young was such a big thing coming in there. You know what I mean? Modern day and all the
Right.
stuff. We all kind of knew.
Right.
Um, and I think you're going to catch a lot of people by surprise over this next 5+ years. Because if you continue to lean on the work and you can continue to lean on your behaviors,
Right.
not the talents,
That's right.
um, then you're gonna out talent and out behave people. And there's a lot of success and a lot of money on the table for people that can do that in the direction that this position's heading. So I'm a fan, dude. I appreciate you coming on.
I appreciate you, man. I appreciate it a lot, and just have me on and to be able to talk to you because with you, you have a lot of resources when it comes to the game of football. And for me, I just try to be a sponge to all your knowledge. And I appreciate you having me on. I really do appreciate it.